mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving this to all you.
Welcome to another exciting, adventurous episode of Ride the Rebellion podcast. I'm Drew. In case you've never seen me, this is me talking into a microphone, looking at you. And with me, as always, is camera two.
Camera two.
Dale Boyd,
The king.
CEO, king of the reigning. Oh, no longer reigning.
I lost the belt.
He lost the belt. I can't say anymore. Prince of the.
I'm still the king of the turn down.
Yeah, you're king of the. Not reigning though, just the king of the South Alabama turn down and the C-suite of Dale Boyd Sports Management. Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sports Management.
The crowd goes wild.
Welcome to the show.
He just walks in, drops it.
So if you haven't figured out, I decided today to just hook up all these wires. If you look at my desk, it's just like a slew of wires. I don't know what's happening. That's what we did. That's what's happening. And so today on the show, you only have 2 camera angles. Maybe one day we'll get 3. I can have up to 4. We have a wide shot.
We can we could have a
guest
threesome
camera. Yes, we could have a menage.
Oh,
Careful we don't say that too much because we'll get canceled apparently on Facebook.
everything's cancelable.
Yeah. Bug got canceled on Facebook in our private group. Speaking of which, coming soon, I think we're going to have a private group up for this podcast. And if you join, it'll be kind of like the idea of a Patreon. But if you do join, we will stream to you live.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah. And now that is going to be, there's a lot of documents you have to sign because of all the things that happen inside of the recording space.
Wait. Is this going to be like our OnlyFans?
Yes.
Literally
I've
only
been
our
waiting till
fans?
we have the stuff. Welcome to the OnlyFans.
Literally only our fans.
Yeah, only our fans. We're going to crank that up and get that going at some point. It'll be pretty awesome if we can get that going. That's
Yeah,
what we wanna
because
do.
no one will join our Discord server.
I know.
All we want you guys just join the Discord server.
That's all we care about, but we can't get it.
I know. It's fine. We'll just make a Facebook page where everyone is so everyone can be happy. Because we don't have enough groups to be in.
This is a big problem. And so if you haven't seen, Dale's wearing a new shirt right there.
Fancy.
Turn down a standard. This is a Dale Boyd Sports Management custom shirt.
Absolutely, but it's not my idea. I'm going to have to give a shout out to a new listener.
Yeah.
And his name is Jake Boykin. He is there's our guy.
Yeah, every day.
Every time we record.
He just Sasquatched by the window.
Sorry.
Maybe we'll have a camera pointed outside just for one shot. Like we waste a camera
It's the
angle
sign shot, dude. For the sign
totally.
shot. Anyway, Jake is a super cool dude. He's a PhD student at Florida State. So someday, hopefully, he will employ me. Maybe. PhD, I don't know. Doctors. Whatever. $20 is $20.
I was thinking about film school because they have a great film school.
So
You're
yeah.
going for $20. It's $20.
Yeah.
Right, well, there you
Jake, we met Jake at the Mobile Cycling Classic, which we can recap. We
go.
have
Nice. Yeah.
We met him at he was a Cat 212 roadie, putting in work, putting down watts. So he was a super awesome guy. We hung out with him and his girlfriend all weekend, and it was pretty awesome to meet them and be friends with somebody in spandex for once.
Yeah, no, they were cool.
Super cool.
If you haven't had a chance, there's a bunch of that content that's up on our YouTube channel and Instagram.
That's everywhere, I think.
Okay, never mind. We hoard out.
Yeah.
Dale Boy. Oh, Google's calling. Let's just say no to Google. Anyway, so Dale put all that stuff up there. So if you guys have a chance, you can check it out. And it's all there for you. There's a lot of funny stuff. We
showed out.
We did show out. If you haven't seen it, you want to give a rundown of actually set up the event first because we've talked about it a little bit, but maybe set up the event first and then we'll talk about how we went a little bit bananas.
We did go bananas. So it's a Mobile Cycling Classic is a big road crit race. There's 250 some people signed up for it, put on by some folks from out of town, and they didn't know what they were expecting, like what to expect from a group like us. I mean, the backwoods folks. But last year I got drunk, no surprise to anyone, and I spoke constantly about how we need some mountain bikers on this road bike race. And so he said, well, if you think you can do it, I can do it. And John was sitting beside me and was like, I don't think you know who you're talking to. Like, he's definitely going to do it. So he told me if I could get 20 people in the race, I would. So I made up some BS rules, throw it out there. I think we had 22 people show up and race,
Yeah,
which was
we had a good turnout. Is Google calling you?
it must be. I don't know, Google. So when they showed up, we showed up, and we didn't just show up. We had costumes on.
That is absolutely so. If you haven't seen the footage,
yeah,
we Bug.
He cheated. He wore spandex.
He literally wore spandex. I think we were all kind of in spandex. There was spandex involved in my outfit. There was some in yours.
I was sweating my ass off.
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah. I broke my chain on the first corner.
Well, because you went
Superman. I was Superman.
You couldn't even contain yourself for 5 minutes on a fat tire fuck off ride, and you got up there and was like, "I'm about to smoke these fuckers," and then you break your chain like from the go. And then of course our world class pit crew engineer Jake Nobles,
He did.
Jakey Poo, is sitting right there to fix the shit.
I went over there. It was like an F1 race. I just jumped off my bike and he zip, 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 like a little guy.
You were back in. You came in. Did you see where you were? Where'd you finish at?
Like 12th, I think. But I mean, I was going fast.
You were going real fast.
So I don't know if the numbers got messed up. I don't know. I think only a couple people had lapped me. So
no, you were doing great. I mean, considering that amount of time. My only concern with that race was after Ralston, I guess, passed me the first time, I was like, oh, fuck.
And the fifth time, you're like, well, this is stupid. I'm about to just get a beer.
I mean, at one point, I changed the music. Bug didn't even notice because he's too young. So I was dressed as Batman. We had Superman, which was Dale, which was like this hybrid Superman.
It was a hybrid of I got a bunch of shit in my closet. Let's all pin it together and let's roll.
But it totally worked.
Yeah.
And then I had a shitty Batman costume. And then I was the Dork Knight is what I was going with. And then you had Bug as Spider himself.
Yeah.
And the problem was, at one point, I had a playlist. I had I had a boombox strapped to my bicycle that only played Batman theme songs, but I did it in chronological order because I'm a super nerd.
Yeah.
So I was playing. Well, at one point I paused it.
The Bug had no clue, right?
He had no clue. I paused it and I ride up beside Bug and I literally start playing Spider-Man, and he has no idea what's going on because he was so gassed. He was like,
oh no, he was gassed. He tried to go way harder than everybody, but he didn't have his spidey senses about him.
no. Well, it's because he couldn't blaze one while he was riding down the road.
That's true. His bussy was probably worked.
Oh, hey now. Oh boy. Well, we learned a new word this weekend.
Yeah, we can't stop. We're like teenagers.
We can't stop saying it because it's hilarious. And it may be offensive to someone somewhere.
I don't know. Not our listeners, I don't think. Maybe.
It is not the P word, though.
No. Hey, actually, it was really funny when I came around the corner at that crit race. Like, all these roadies are, like, kind of standing there. And I love them. Watching them race was fantastic for me. And they're all standing there, like, lining the corner. And I dropped my seat post to go into the corner. And, like, the look on their faces was like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was like, what did he just do?
I would go to the corners and be like, can you guys do this? I'd yelled it out a couple times and I would drop. Or I would make a Batman quote. Like, where'd I get all these wonderful toys? I kept doing it. Trying to. And so one group started laughing and one group got really into the fact that I was playing the Prince Batman soundtrack. Oh. And so, like, this group of people was, like, rowdy about it. And they were cheering me on a lot. Until that song stopped, and then they just didn't care anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't just on the road. Like, we went up over the median, so we were in the grass, and I was jumping. I jumped the finish line. So,
but the good, sad truth of that situation was we ended up turning up in bigger numbers. I mean, the roadies that are there are hardcore. Let's be honest. The one guy, like, you didn't know me kind of guy.
He said,
"Did you not even famous.
Did you even Google me?" That's what he said.
Yeah,
he was the director, the promoter of the whole race. So
yeah,
it was still that was the greatest quote ever.
Oh, it's fantastic.
When I said, "Hey man, you did great in that Cat 1 race. Like, you kept up with those guys for a long time." He just casually looks at me and goes, "Did you not Google me?"
That's what I'm saying. That's brilliant.
I'm like, "Oh no," but I can't wait till I can say that to somebody.
Yeah,
and
one day.
Like,
I had a client try and hire me to put them on Wikipedia, and it's like a whole process, and it's God. Like, you're not that important.
No.
I hate to tell you. Okay, so that's kind of covering that. It was a good time. Sometimes I think you just got to make do with what you got. In this case, like, I don't know, you put it together, and it was super freaking fun. Excuse me. And it was super freaking fun. I didn't want to burp in you guys' ears. I'm still on keto, so they're pretty juicy.
Tall boys for me.
Nobody's drinking a Red Bull tall boy. I'm just going to melt down a bunch of Red Bull cans and then somehow get them to make like a shield and put it on top of my helmet so I can be like, check it out, I'm a Red Bull guy now.
Yeah, that's gave me wings.
And just crash like I normally do. Okay, so shout out to our sponsors. The one of them, I don't even know when this contest ends anymore. Is it over?
I don't know when it ends.
Yeah,
either.
we're just gonna say keep going. So
Let's keep
Aaron,
going.
from 2 weeks ago or whenever the podcast was on, Aaron decided to give away a free pair of shoes. It's $150, $140 bucks. I don't want to put numbers in his mouth. I think it was 140.
Yeah.
Over $100.
Yeah.
A good pair of shoes, which means they're going to be fit to you. And he was giving those away. All you have to do is go into a store. Now, it sucks if you don't live here, but that's the price you pay. Bring us some sponsors out of town so that we can get your community to give you free shit.
Yeah. If you bring us a nationwide sponsor, you'll get some free shit.
Yeah. Guys, your mom and dad do mom and dad do anything famous? Does your mom and dad do something famous and needs video production? Hi, I'm Drew Hall with Drew Hall Video Production Company. We partnered up with Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sports Management. This 2-camera system is just making me hot and bothered.
Oh,
I was switching between them.
Ouch.
That's perfect. Anyway,
that was good.
shout out to Run and Try for giving us that option. If you haven't been by there. Oh, and I went and got what is that crap? You can.
You can, yeah.
Holy smokes, it works incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerously so. He only had single packs. I got to get him to order me a jug. I mean, I found it at other places, but I like Aaron. Trying to support him. But that stuff is incredible. If you are, I guess you don't even have to be keto for that stuff.
Not at all. A lot of people that are in the fitness and endurance are low sugar people, right? So, and it's because it's starch and it's not sugar, it's way, way better.
Yeah, either way, it's fantastic. That's what I know. It was fantastic. So if you haven't had a chance, go check that out. It was, I enjoyed it. It worked really well. I used it on the race, and then I used another half the next day. I just split it in half because the race was 20 minutes. I didn't need that long.
It felt like an hour.
It did. It felt forever. But it worked really well. So if you have a chance, check them out. Go over to Run and Try and taste the You Can, and then enter to win some shoes. And as we said, if you really need something, he can help you order online. Next up in the queue, we've got Lucky Shot Coffee. Cue line.
Shoot your shot.
I just got to you. That was so great. Sorry, it makes me happy. Lucky Shot Coffee. I have not had any this afternoon. That's why this podcast is probably going swimmingly well. It's not because Lucky Shot Coffee is bad, but because it just really amps me up to a point.
Well, I'm on the opposite. I'm going pure caffeine Red Bull. So I'm going to be floating out of this chair in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you got to ride.
That's fine.
I mean, what we should do is figure out how to bottle Lucky Shot Coffee into like something like that. If she did that would be gangster. Because her coffee's good and it's low acid. Like, I really enjoy it.
That would be awesome.
I'm switching the wrong cameras now. I've gotten off rhythm. I was on you when I was talking, and
the 1-2 step.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Could give people like some kind of epileptic problems. If you haven't had a chance to try it, I highly suggest it. I have to go buy more. I've sold out yet again because I use it so much. I have to keep it in stock, so I have to go get some more. I usually try and get it from like Satori and stuff, but if not, you can go to LuckyShotCoffee.com and shoot your shot.
Get it.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
And then Dirt Coaster Academy. Listen, I'm still reeling a little bit and being able to use what I learned at Dirt Coaster Academy to have a good time. I do think it's kind of interesting. Like, I think everyone should take a class and go down the pipeline. It's very good. It's awesome. But don't they have something coming up at Bogue Chitto that might be kind of fun?
Yeah, they have an endurance race, cross-country racing, a jumping contest.
And it's not necessarily dirt coaster.
No, it's the Bogue Chitto, basically.
But if you have dirt coaster skills, you
can pay the bills.
We're just two dumb dads.
That's right.
That ride bikes and record podcasts at 4:00 in the afternoon. Anyway, if you haven't had a chance, go over to dirtcoasteracademy.com. It looks like they have classes coming up. I know that Nina's out of town currently. She's having a delightful vacay.
Hawaii,
having fun. Yeah, she's like
way to
rocking
go.
it.
Thanks for taking us.
Well, I guess Toby's working.
You know that we'll just like carry bags or something, right? Like we like Hawaii too.
You can be like, these are my two boys.
Yeah, they record podcasts.
They record. Yeah, they follow me around with a podcast boom mic.
That's what we should do with each other. Just follow each other around. We say a bunch of funny shit.
I know, but at some point we would get beyond canceled.
But that's what the point is. Like, let's see how far we can go. Like, I follow some stuff on Instagram, for that matter, that is pretty okay. Maybe I shouldn't follow it, but I do.
Listen, I was trying to tell Justina about some funny Chris Farley skits.
Oh.
And I pulled up one from SNL where he's the guy from Wisconsin that's on the Japanese game show. And no one on the show is Japanese. It's Mike Myers. It's Jareem Garofalo,
that wouldn't play
Adam
now.
Baldwin. It would not play now.
It's like the most extreme elimination challenge.
Yeah, none of that plays.
None of that.
God, that show was funny.
It was great. Guy Ledouche.
It was so good, but it was so bad. Anyway, if you haven't head over to Dark Kosher, I'm just kidding.
The best transition.
I'm just kidding. We already closed them out. We've moved past that. We were into
The Clean Eats.
Yeah. So Clean Eats, the thing about Clean Eats that I keep bringing up is that their grab and go case, which is like pre-made food, it's not their necessarily menu. The reason I bring it up is because like for the price and for what you get it's actually legit, and you can pick through a lot of different options. Mm-hmm. Some things about those dumb meal plans, not knocking it, but sometimes not knocking our sponsor either, but meal plans on occasion get a little old to me because it's like, I already know what's coming. I kind of like to just be somewhat spontaneous or whatever. And so you can still plan and do your meal correctly, but you can go do it through their grab and go case, which makes it much easier. And again, they have lots of different varieties. And their pizza's fantastic.
Go and get your meats at Clean Eats.
Oh, my God. We're just...
Don't beat your meats. Get your Clean Eats.
There it is.
That's it. Shoot your shot with Lucky Shot. Beat your meats. Don't beat your meats. Get your Clean Eats.
Yeah.
Man,
our meats can't be beat. Clean Eats.
Oh, man. That's true, too.
We're just done.
We love them all.
Getting dirty. I mean, they're all pornographic at this point. All of our sponsors.
Are you kidding me? Do you honestly think we can't make something pornographic?
Yeah,
Literally
I mean,
everything can be made pornographic. Like, those scissors are beautiful. Yeah, you know what scissoring does, right? Like, everything.
The best is whenever you say something really, really offensive, I have a graphic that pops up on the screen that says... Dale Boyd Sports, Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sports Management.
That's even better.
Oh, this is just a travesty. I hope people enjoy. This is raw. I mean, there is no. Now you guys are seeing this video that we can't hide from it. Okay, that put me in a good mood though. It's good. I wasn't in a bad mood either. All right, so we've now embarrassed and abolished and hurt all of our sponsors. Chances of this podcast continuing, 100%. Chances of this podcast continuing with sponsors,
about 4.2.
Yeah, you take the cue so well, man. It's like we just know each other. Anyway, I wonder, we were kind of talking about stuff. There's a lot of things that are interesting that we go roundabout on. And one of the things I was thinking about is like, there's a lot of good in mountain biking. We talk about that all the time. And this is not a Debbie Downer episode. We had that one a few weeks back.
Did we?
Well, don't you remember when we were like just lighting people up?
Oh, yeah, we were
like,
just, and we were kind of down.
We were sassy.
We were kind of bitches.
Yeah, we were bitchy.
It's fine. It's our podcast.
Yeah, that's fine. It was a very popular podcast, it turns out. It did well.
Because apparently everyone was bitchy.
Yeah. I think it was a legit thing.
It must be, you know how like females are all on their period at the same time? Apparently mountain bikers are too.
Especially male mountain bikers.
That's what I'm saying. They all are on the same cycle.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Oh
one?
my God. That is, I don't know how to use that yet beyond that joke. But there's a sticker waiting to...
I mean, I know a guy.
Here we go. Where's your banner? Bloop.
Yes.
Free plugs. All right. So anyway, what we started talking about was we had this conversation back and forth. And we talk about a lot when we're at the trailhead or Friday Night Lights. And it's just to kind of like, it's fun to have this dialogue of everything's great. We know what we love, but there's things that kind of suck. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot, and we could say a lot of things, but I think it's no good to just say, oh, here's a bunch of shit that sucks, and then not do anything to offer any kind of improvement. So the idea here was we were going to present each one of us in turn, basically make a small case for three things that we think suck. And of those three things, we're going to pick one and each, maybe with each other's ideas, whatever, but we're going to collectively problem solve. So you're going to get two things. At the end of the day, you're going to have 6 things that suck, and we're going to give you 2 ways to fix it.
All right.
I don't know if that's going to work, but that's what we're trying.
So luckily for us, we're not speaking out of school here, I don't think, because we've actually done things to make things better. Like, we don't just sit around and bitch about it and just point fingers at the people that are trying to do it. We are the people that are trying to do it.
No, I think
so that we're in our lane here for a minute.
I mean, this whole podcast is an extension of the idea that it wasn't, as we've talked about before, it wasn't a zing on any organization, but we wanted to ride differently than was capable of what they could provide. So we went and made our own situation. Like, we literally, but it's not a middle finger to the parent organization or the governing body around here. It's just, we did our own thing.
No, because we'd be middle fingering ourselves.
That's exactly
fingering ourselves.
Hey,
always.
Here we go. Nope. Where's that sticker? Dale Boyd Sports Management.
We need a new one.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead.
All right. So I guess one of the things that we've talked about it before, but I want to point out an anchoring on it, and I do think it's low hanging fruit for an answer. So I'm probably will try not to develop on that one. But one of the ones I had is the intimidation factor of mountain biking is bad enough. I think it's a problem. I legitimately think it's a problem because I think it's a problem not just for. I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. So it's not just that you show up at the trail the first time and Dale Boyd Sports Management makes fun of you for having too much camera gear on. That's fine. Later befriends you because he wants to be on.
I find people that I think can handle it, and then it's just
good.
a test.
You're good. I bring it up out of complete and total jest. But so we have that side of things, which is like the idea that you go to a trailhead if you're an early rider. And you get there and it's intimidating. And that doesn't necessarily always mean that's sometimes to us. Like I've rolled up on somebody else's trails, somebody else's home trails, and I get there and I try and talk to them because, if there's two people that will talk to anybody, it's
right.
The two Ds, the double Ds. So I'll go in and try and chat with them and I get nothing. And they're kind of douchey, a little standoffish. I get it. I'm not coming in hot. I'm not trying to be like, whatever.
Well, I do it different. I go up there with stickers.
Yeah, that's right. You do bribe them.
I do put a flag up before I go talk to people.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Dale Boyd. I'm running for class president.
I'm running for all your KOMs.
Yeah, that's right. And so being able to get in there and have that conversation. So one part of my thing that annoys me is that I think the quote, I don't mean this in like I both do and don't mean it in a woke and not woke sense. I just mean inclusivity. We got to get better about doing it as a community. I think we need to be a little more open with people and giving a pass in a lot of ways. It might even pop up as one of yours, but we've had instances where our patience gets really tested,
yes.
Right? And that's not as like leaders. You're more of a leader than me in the local community, but it's still your patience gets tested. It even happened inside the Reb. Mine got tested recently. So.
Well, no, I mean even us though. Like a lot of times somebody new shows up, we don't know them, right? We kind of together make fun of them, maybe like they don't know that,
right?
But then after a while, you're like, oh, I mean, he's just like us, So it's like our first instinct is to like tease them without teasing them, and then to see what type of person they are. For whatever reason, maybe it's a tribal thing.
I think it's a mental thing because if we feel like if we can tease them to ourselves, that they'll be able to handle it. It's really
it might be, but it might be tribal too, though. Like we might be like, oh, let's see if they're tough enough to be in our tribe, even though there's no toughness level. There's no like I got a message this week, and I love you if you're listening, but somebody said how I want to join your team. How do I join your team? And I was like, there's no team. I was like, I offered the, Tuesday night rides and offered some other opportunities for them to just ride and hang out. Like that's all it is, you know? So I get it. I completely agree with you. I'll let you finish your thought on it, but
I think that person that reached out, that was Moxie. That's essentially a solution. I'm not necessarily saying we're going to solve that problem because I think there's an inherent, there's a depth to that. There's an easy solution that's a lot harder than people realize to accomplish.
Well, especially if you're not skilled. Like if you're new and you're green as possible, like it's so hard. Like say every sport is hard to break into the hobby of, you want to be a hobbyist, right? So like you're going from, I don't know what I'm doing. How am I going to prove myself to these people that are doing it?
Yeah.
Right. So like you can't walk up on a golf course and drive the ball 400 yards and roll it off the tee. The guys are going to make fun of you. They're going to laugh at you. Right. But they all started there. So like, but that's what we've tried to change with the zero drop mindset is like, we all started there. We know exactly what you're going through. We were all there. Some of us more recent than others. Some days we feel like we're beginners. So jump on your bike and join us. So
well, it goes back to what triggered this is it's been in my brain for a while was at the dirt coaster thing. We were mostly, there's a few of us that knew each other, but there was a lot of strangers and there's people from other areas. And I give them credit. They literally, because we were in a unified thing, didn't matter what kind of bike you're on or what you're doing. We're all level playing field at that point. And it was kind of like, it was a good mechanism. It's like Tuesday night rides are a good mechanism to kind of be like, hey guys, we're all on the level playing field.
Right.
Unless you're the assholes, which I'm not saying we have a lot of, but I see that come to Tuesday night ride to puff chest. That's not the place to do it. Like puff chest with your buddies on your KLMs.
No, that's me. I'm out there. If you want to puff chest, like let's go. Because I'm probably puffing mine too because I'm in the front.
Well, that's how it works.
But no, seriously, it really is because I've tried to do this mindset with the group ride because I usually lead it, is I know there's some dudes in this group that want to go fast and they've been working out by themselves. This is their chance to prove to everybody that, hey, I've gotten better at mountain biking, right? So like I'll go as fast as, not as fast as I possibly can, but I go faster than other people, but I stop, right? So it's like, I want it to be cohesive for everybody or enjoyable for everyone.
No,
you know?
I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. Yeah, so that's my first one. My first one is being a douche and not being inclusive. And yes, that is both the woke version and non-woke version. It's like, just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
And so I think there's
Just remember where you came from.
Yeah, exactly right. Doesn't matter how many years you've been riding.
Or how many thousands of dollars you've spent on a bicycle.
Oh boy, that's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it, but
I'm guilty of it too. Look at my shiny bike, everybody.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But
I judged a guy or gal or someone driving here. Right. And
I did it today too.
They had a bike on the back of their car. I was like, what are you doing riding that hardtail?
Yeah.
That is just, and look at it. It's old. Oh, you're a 26er? What are you, Jakey Poo?
Literally, I did the same thing. Like, Free sent me a picture of somebody's bike on the back of their car, and he just put hashtag bike gang. Like, he snapped it to me, and I just put, who the F is that poser? Like, right. I don't know them. Like, they could be great people. They might be at the group ride, and I love you if you are. You know, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that we're not blame free of this exact thing. I think it's a community level thing. It's a mindset shift that has.
I think it's like you have to recognize it.
Yeah,
if you recognize it, you're good.
Yeah, there's a lot of douchery in this hobby.
Every hobby.
Yeah. And just focusing on this, I feel like there's a lot of douchery that could be prevented from happening on the front. Maybe I don't know.
I think we've done a good job of it recently. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be riding it with a group. The old group for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we've done a much better job of it. I'm probably guilty of, I'm not always good at it. Maybe I say things I shouldn't, but hey,
we definitely say things we shouldn't.
Whatever.
All right. What's yours? What do you got one?
So this is kind of, we've already spoke about it on a previous podcast, but it's the trail virtue signaling stuff.
Oh, bro, I can't stand it.
I cannot stand it. It's like, I get it. Don't ride muddy trails, but it's regional. Like,
right.
I get it. Like, we've had a month of rain, right? Nonstop. Yes, the trails were probably too saturated like 1 or 2 days this weekend. But if you have to like tell everybody about it, then they're dumb anyway. They're going to, like, I just don't get, if it makes you feel better, like, hey, please don't ride the muddy trails. A lot of us work on them. Okay, well, yeah, cool. Me too. I'm riding. Like,
so the thing that was eye-opening to your point on that for me is when I rode up, I was on my Chattanooga trip, it rained a lot. Like it rained several times. And I would ask, and they're like, no, what are you talking about? Like, why is it in world-class level trails, they're like, no, they've got proper drainage and they do things correctly. But then some trail sets, it's just kind of like, no.
Right.
Don't even get near that mud.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, again.
Until there's a race. If you host a race, you can ride through all the mud you want. Right. But why? It's messing up the trail, just maybe worse. It's like, what's going to happen? I know that there gets bigger holes and wider ruts and stuff. It's mountain biking.
Right.
This dirt has been here for a long time. It's going to be here for a lot more time after we're gone. We are literally riding bicycles on it.
Yeah, I think we should make a shirt that says "Ride wet trails, make new features."
Oh my god!
To make new features.
Yeah, wet trails are new features.
Wet trails are new features. That's cancelable right there.
Oh, and I know that this is not the popular opinion with a lot of people, especially I'm a board member of an IMBA chapter. I'm telling everybody, like, just do what you want, but like, obviously you have to put back into the trails. Like, here's the solution: you want to ride wet trails, show up on a work day.
Yeah.
Like, show up and help out if you want to mess it up, fix it.
That's a fantastic solution. You just argued against your entire, I'm with you on it. The only other reason I would say not to ride wet trails is if it's a space that you don't know what it is and you're going to ride something like that's not necessarily smart because you don't know what the rocks are going to be like. You don't know the terrain.
And you're not going to go back and help work on it.
Yeah, exactly right. It's exactly right.
Because it's not your local trails.
Right.
And I mean, I get it if you travel to ride a certain trail system and it's closed because it rains, shit happens. Go ride around town. But it's a pretty cool town.
I just don't know that many. Like, again, in my travel experience, I have yet, unless it was a torrential bad series of downpours, a regular rain cycle, I have yet to have someone say, no, you can't do it. And I even heard that people
I think up
in
north
Pisgah,
they do. Like, I know in Ohio they close their trails, but they have a pretty, like, serious. I mean, it's during the winter, especially the thaw and freeze. Like,
I get
it'll
that.
trash
I do
it.
get that. That's a different scenario altogether because that makes it really bad because then the mud freezes and all that. My understanding. I can ask Mr. Pickles, my buddy, that he lives in Warren, Ohio.
Oh, yeah, they don't even go outside up there in the freaking freeze.
No, he hates it.
Too cold.
He's like a weird. He lives his life like 6 months out of the year.
No, I know.
Or 7 months.
They have lake effect snow that's probably snowing there right now.
Yeah.
Sucks.
It's awful. Okay, so that was a good one. And you got a solution to that? Are you going to call that a solution on that one?
Yeah, I think it's a solution. Show up to work day. Or just don't try to make yourself feel better by saying how much you do on the trails.
There we go. So there's one. So one of the ones is riding wet trails, optional,
Yeah.
but show up on a work day.
Regional, too.
Regional, for sure. I wonder what the wet trails would be like in the desert. I think it would, because it's all
I don't
sand,
think it
it's just
rains
drains.
there much.
Yeah, but let's say it did.
Yeah, it's probably like here.
You know what's funny, though, is then I sit there and watch downhill mountain biking.
It's all mud every time.
Cross country. They just destroy a mountain.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a bit of money with them.
I guess so. It's quite a bit of money with some of these people's bikes. All right, so my number 2 scenario is using a lot of mountain bike quote language out of context and all the time. Like the one that I hear that's been popping up that I hear a lot is, I'm going to get steezy. Getting steezy.
That's my gloves say that.
I don't even know what the shit it means.
Nobody does. It's like a bunch of bussy.
I'm going to make mine say bussy. Buh. We're saying buh, not puh. It's a buh.
Yeah.
Very clear. It's a B. Like bugs.
It doesn't
bussy.
make it any better. It really doesn't.
It probably doesn't. We've said it a lot. We've canceled.
No,
But it drives me crazy because there's a lot of it. Like there's one thing, like I get some of it, like, hey, send it, whatever. Even that, like fun. It's a language of the hobby. I get it. But at the end of the day, I just, when I hear too much of it, I don't feel like the person's communicating anymore. They're just like spouting. They're repeating gibberish. And I'm not judging them for it per se. I'm literally saying it's ineffective communication when you could just fucking tell me what you want to say.
I feel like it is also the beginner way of presenting that they're part of it. Like, I just started mountain biking. Like, you know what I did? This is seriously what I did. I never watched YouTube videos. I still very rarely do. I don't.
Not even
I can't.
Basketball videos.
Well, that was different. But so I don't watch mountain bike videos. I just don't like. I know how tame it makes the video look, so I didn't watch them.
Right.
So it doesn't interest me that much. So before I went and rode, like my thing from the 90s riding BMX was like, you have to have all the stickers of everything, right? So I bought a black helmet and I stickered the hell out of it. Like when I showed up, it was like all these awesome stickers and looked awesome. No one noticed. No one gave a shit.
Right.
But it was like my way of like, hey, I know what I'm doing here. That was like my way of trying to fit in. But now people are watching videos and they're like getting some of the lingo or language that some of the Pacific Northwest people say.
And that's my thing. It's mostly regional. It's just like the same in my business. Like if I'm on set, you experienced it. So some of the terms I'd be like, get an apple box. Like, and I'd say to set it a certain way. Well, the way you set down this box, it's just a wooden box. Right. If I say California, I expect you to put it a certain way. Well, if you go to California, they don't use those terms. They have different terms. Right. And so just little things like that. It's just language in the space. And it just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I think is, it's not like a negative in the sense of like, oh, it's going to tear down the situation. But what it does do is alienate you from other people because they don't know what the hell you're talking about. Right. That's my opinion.
Well, and there's like certain terms that you'll never hear me say. Ask John knows this one too, because I always bitch about this. I will never say session anything ever.
Yeah, right.
Like I'll say, hey, I'm going to go ride this over and over and over again. Like I will say that before I say session ever. Like there's certain
things. You don't want to do any
things.
fat sessions, bro?
Yeah, I'm not. There's
send
none
some
of that.
fat sessions and get steezy with it.
But usually I'm too busy shredding the gnar, so I don't even notice.
And I even look, and I love hand up, but there's stuff in their.
Well, no, that's their whole thing.
Yeah,
they're just spreading the.
But I often wonder if it's not ironic.
Oh, it's definitely ironic.
Because I mean, their shirts and stuff are like silly as shit.
Yeah,
the Hawaiian shirts and all that.
I mean, that I get it. That is annoying, but I think it's just a coping mechanism for your first annoyance. Seriously.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably super accurate on it. All right, so there it is. So we've got my second one. I'm not going to give a solution on that one because I don't think there is one. It's just shut the hell up. So there's no solution necessarily. So we have one solution.
We got.
But we got
one and a half.
We got 3 problems.
Right.
Problem number 4.
All right, I got the problem. The problem is no one gives a shit about what you ride.
Damn it, you took one of mine.
Damn it, did I? Yeah. But it's true, right?
Yeah.
Like, and to the point where if you ride something shitty, no one cares.
Right.
If you ride something awesome, I don't give a shit how much tension your spokes have. I really don't care.
Right.
It's almost like your fantasy football team. Nobody gives a fuck about it but you.
Right.
Right. So don't go on here telling me like, man, I got these new pro tip model spoke rings and blah, blah. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. Like, let's just ride bikes. And like, don't get me wrong, we're all guilty of it because we're bike nerds, right? Like we love it. You know, and Bug sent me this thing today. It's super funny. It's like a meme of a guy standing in the corner at a party, and like everybody's having fun, but he's by himself, and it says, "Nobody even knows I have electronic shifting."
Oh my god!
And I was like, "It's so me." Like everywhere I go, you know, like trying to tell everybody about my really awesome bike that no one cares about,
right?
But me, or no one, you know, like. I lead conversations with, hey, Dale Boy, do you know we have a podcast? Like, no one cares about it.
Right.
But they do, right? Then they'll jump on and listen. It's fine.
No, and that's the absolute truth. That's the absolute reality of it. I get it. I'm the same. I'm with you. Like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, new bike day, I didn't even tell anybody.
No, you didn't. I didn't even know.
I didn't tell anybody that I was doing anything. I just kind of did it because it's not a big parade. I'm just not that kind of guy. Like, it's the same way with cameras and stuff. Like, I'll show up to a shoot. My clients don't give a shit that the lens I'm holding is $75,000.
Not at all.
I do. The image looks that way, right? Mm-hmm. Like your bike on camera looks fantastic, right? But for any other purpose, no one's going to care until they see it on camera and we're highlighting it and there's a little glint of light that we purposely put there.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden it works, right? So I'm with you 100%. That's pretty good. That's good.
No, and it's funny because it causes people to be self-conscious about what they're riding. It causes people to... Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It causes people to be like worried about what their bike looks like, or I don't have the latest thing. Like I've seen dudes shred on shred.
Yeah.
I've seen people like really ride bikes that were not capable of what they were trying to do.
Oh yeah,
you know. So it's like, just shut up about it and just ride. I mean,
I don't know the guy's name, but shout out to the dude that showed up on that Walmart bike wearing he rode the whole trail in Crocs. Shout out to that guy.
Oh, yeah. And he loves it. And he's got super good energy. And no one cares.
No one cares.
He's crocking till he's...
And every once in a while, I was like, hey, you can ride my bike if you want, like just to give him a chance. And that's the other thing, though. So there's a piece of encouragement out of that is if you don't have... I'm switching the cameras the wrong way. If you don't have a super, like, epic bike... Don't give a shit. Just ride your bike.
That's right.
Because I promised you that, like, the really good people to ride with, they're going to eventually be like, yeah, take it. Go ride it. Figure it out. See what or they're going to give you advice and help. And that's one of the things that I felt really blessed with is, like, the group here, once I proved myself by being not an asshole, not even a good rider, just not an asshole.
Yeah.
Like people started giving me good advice. And like that episode was like, if you haven't listened to it, it's the most popular episode, but that episode has great advice and it's true. And it helped me shape a decision on buying a bike.
Well, and I think it's also too like, dude, if you have a sweet bike and you suck, like I'm going to make fun of you.
That's worse. Absolutely.
You know, it's like you pull a $500 driver out of your golf bag and you shank one. You're getting made fun of.
Exactly right.
Like, that's why we went to the enduro race, and that was my first ever enduro, and I show up on this bike, and I told Trey, I was like, I cannot suck today. Like, if I roll up on this bike in front of 35 to 50 people, and everybody turns and looks at it anyway,
right,
I'm going to look like an asshat if I suck.
Oh, you have a bike that is meant to get attention.
Right, yeah.
And if nothing else, it's because it's so freaking bright.
It's an extension of my personality.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Dale Boyd Sports Man.
Also, if you know, you know. So
yeah, that's exactly right.
If you recognize the issue and exploit it, it's fine.
That's fantastic. Interestingly enough, in that space and with your other one, where I'll tie my next one back in and potentially pose a solution is, though I can make the solution a great marketing moment, I hate brand loyalty. I hate it. And what I mean is like in sports stuff, like I have brand loyalty because I love Lucky Shot, but even Shannon knows that I'm not always going to drink her coffee because there are different beans from different roasters from different places that make an incredible bean that tastes 10 times better than anything else. Right. She gets that. I think Dirt Coaster Academy would be idiots to think that I wanted to go get additional training, that I would always just come back to them. I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Right.
But the reality of it is even they have coaches outside of that space. So it's kind of like, even with brand, I can't stand it. It just drives me nuts to a point of like, when someone, because then the next thing they do is act a lead about it. And that is like, I can't, there's a dude I love on I can't remember his name. I threw him into our group chat. That guy, he's like this heavy set dude. He's 6'5", 330 pounds. and he's a great rider. Like,
Oh,
he's
that guy
legit.
has a good. His Instagram's huge.
His Instagram is hilarious, and he
Yeah.
started putting them on YouTube, TikTok. But I don't know if he's making fun of himself or what, but he only rides Specialized, and he
Yeah.
has like 20 Specialized bikes, and he talks about being poor and all this stuff. It's just kind of like, I got it, dude. Like, I'd love to see you do something else. So I guess my point is, I think it's interesting if you get away from the idea of like riding the same shit,
Yeah.
and only buying Specialized or only buying Tracker, like down to like even the gear. I wear a Bontrager helmet, I got Bontrager tires, I got.
Well, I think that I completely agree, and because I ride a bike that no one's heard of locally,
Right.
everybody's like, "What is that?" Like, well, get outside of your little box every
Right.
once in a while,
Right.
and check out and see what other brands. Because listen, just like you said, you can't expect Dirt Coaster can't expect you to go there always.
Right.
Like, it hinders growth, right? Like if you are pigeonholed to one thing, on one idea and one thing the whole time, like you're never going to grow as a human. And I think that Mobile as a whole has that problem in general, as they pigeonhole to what's comfortable, and they don't, and maybe the country, I don't know, whatever's comfortable is what people stay with. And I can speak of that because I moved 800 miles away from what was comfortable and started over. So it was like, I get it, but just step outside and maybe it'll be cooler over there.
Here's
right?
the thing, though. Literally changing what bike you ride can change the way you ride.
Exactly.
I mean, just watching, I was talking to Jake about it, and Jake rides an older Intense, right? And we tease him about it, but that bike is rad. It is
it's an awesome bike.
It's a badass bike. We talk shit, but there's no reason for that guy to upgrade a
He's
bike.
going to loan it long enough until 26ers come back, and it's going to be
and
the
then
best
we've got
bike
to
on
eat shit forever. But his has an interesting linkage. It's got a virtual pivot point linkage, and just watching the way he rides and how that tire moves, and then getting to ride it just to feel the difference, that felt completely different. I'm at a point where I could feel it. It's no different than like if you're only gonna. I switched tires up and I started riding. I got a Maxxis and a Continental. They ride totally different,
Right.
And they're different vibes. Like even those little pieces, I think make a change to it. I'm not saying be loyal to something that you love. If you find a tire you like and you want to dig in, don't change it. But being that guy or gal or person or whatever you are, just showing up, being like, well, this is it, and this is the only one that works. Oh, piss off.
No, and I'm friends with a guy named the Wipeout King. You can follow him. Shout out to the Wipeout King. And he's an awesome dude. He's like one of the nicest dudes on the planet. And he had a Specialized bike with Bontrager tires on it because that's what he liked. And somebody at the trailhead tried to call him out, and I've never seen him get mad, and he was heated. So it's like
he's kind of a hippie. Like,
yeah, he's
chill.
just chill, man.
Yeah.
Like he just wants to surf and scuba dive and ride bikes. Like,
Right.
And he was mad, and it's like, dude, why? Who cares? Like, what do you mean my logos aren't over top of my valve stems? Like,
Right.
who cares? Like,
Right.
it's again that whole bike elitist thing. I think it's that, but the brand loyalty thing is stupid.
It's specifically to that. And part of the reason I bring it up is because at the end of the day, for ventures that we may be stepping into, this isn't the shameless. I'm not going to make it about marketing. I swear to God. But in reality, you're not helping other bike shops. You're not helping support your local bike shop when you only buy that one thing, because that means typically the way that the bike culture is now in our area. I can't say this for everywhere because obviously Suck Creek is like the model of a bike shop I would love to have. And they were like not brand loyal. But if you're in the big three or whatever, you're stuck with Specialized and their products, and they're limiting you. You're cutting off an entire opportunity, and there's smaller brands out there that are fantastic, that are doing stuff that have heart, and you can feel it. You can sense the heart. And then there's other stuff that's corporate giants. I'm not saying Specialized make fantastic bikes.
They do. They really
and they
do.
have the R&D money, so I'm not knocking them. So does Trek, so does Giant. Like, we're talking about guys that have huge amounts of R&D. But there's something that, like, if we use Meta or your Common Cell for an example, that dude loves downhill bikes.
Yeah.
Like, he spends thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars just futzing with downhill bikes, which is such a limited class.
So you have to trust that what he's doing is out of passion. So you're like, damn, I want a piece of that passion.
Right.
The piece of the passion is buy a bike that he's building.
That's
Not
right.
that the Specialized and Trek and
They're
Giant,
great.
they probably do too, but the passion is lost in the business side of it.
It's in the business side. That's 100% it. And that's what I mean. And that's what I mean by brand loyalty. Like, get out of this, shake it up a little bit. And
the funny thing is, we're complaining about bike elitists while another large mountain bike podcast came out today with a custom bike of one of the hosts. Like, that's all they talked about was his custom bike that he just got.
Is that on the Not Pink Bike podcast?
No, it's on the a whole globe wide podcast.
Oh, yeah. I don't even listen to that garbage anymore.
I don't either. I just saw it pop up on my feed, and I was like, God, come on, guys, get out of here.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about that whole someone else's.
I haven't
custom
listened to it since they were complaining about how they have to take their bikes apart and put them back together every time they fly somewhere. I'm like,
Oh, that was that
you
time
poor
with me
baby.
on the PB podcast, the Peanut Butter podcast, when they turned around and were like complaining about going to Sea Otter
Yeah.
and how hard it was to get flown all over the country to ride their bike.
Yeah.
Or the world. I'm sorry, it was the world they were talking. And they didn't even have to bring their bikes. They got
Right.
bikes given to them. New test. Come on, man.
no, the one dude was like, well, no, the one I saw was about axis shifting, right?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe here's another what annoys us about it, about the mountain bike world. Here we go.
Yeah,
but
no joke.
no, it's like,
That's a fair one. It's
It
mountain
is.
bike podcast.
yeah, mountain bike podcasts are annoying. No, they said, well, yeah, I like axis shifting. It's really nice. The other guy's like, well, I really like wired because it's a lot nicer. And the other dude goes, dude, you have a mechanic put your bike together everywhere you go. Of course
Right.
you like wired.
Right.
Like you don't have to touch it.
Right.
So that's my rant. I'm rant over.
All right, so I'm going to throw my solution
Okay, what's
on
your
the brand
solution?
side of things is literally to do this. You're going to support every store in your area. Go buy, next time you need something, go buy it from a store you've never been to before, right? And not online. Go to a physical bike shop. If your only option is online, sure, but go dig around. Don't just go to Pro Cycle. Go somewhere else. And don't buy it unless it's obviously Shimano. You need to stay with Shimano. I get it. If it's group set stuff. But if not, go try and buy something outside of the space just to test it. But more importantly, don't be brand loyal on the commerce side. Like go to a different store. So I've literally done it. I put my money where my mouth is. I've bought multiple items from every single bike shop in the area. I've even bought from stuff from
Don't say their name.
no, the one in Biloxi.
Biloxi Bicycle Works. Yeah.
No, the one in Ocean Springs that has Ibis. That guy, super good dude.
I forget. Just
I've not been to
blanked
Biloxi
on it.
Bicycle Works. That's Bart, right?
Yeah, it's Bart.
Bart's awesome. Shout out to Bart. But I haven't been over to the other one yet. So, but anyway, point is, every time I go to a bike shop, I buy something from them to support it because I believe in it. And it might not be something huge, but I buy something that I'm
Right.
going to need for my bike from that place. So I've bought from the Specialized store. I've bought from Trek. I've bought from Giant store. Whatever. I've done those things. And I think it's important if people would at least give it a shot, try and help people out.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's any problem with having multiple places to shop, right? Like I've always said, I managed restaurants back in the day, and like I always said, everybody'd be like, well, that restaurant's doing this and the same special you are and the same thing and blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's fine. It gets more people out, right? Like
Yep.
if there's only one place to go, no one's going.
Right.
Like that's why every time you're driving down the highway, all the restaurants are at the same exit.
Right.
Like because if there's only one, you're not going to get off. You're going to I don't like that. But if you have options, you're going to get off. Even
Right.
if you don't go to, you're only going to one.
Right.
But
Maybe
if you
the
don't,
idea of
the
options
idea,
entices you.
that's what it
Yeah.
is. You know, like I'm not going to just go. I think a lot of people get into that where they're like, Trek is a brand that's been around a long time. Specialized is like I personally think Specialized is like a Mercedes version of, you know, like people, it's an elitist brand bike, right? And so I own one, obviously. I'm an elitist. But I don't ride it all the time, I think that people think that like when they're, okay, let's get into mountain biking. Well, Trek's been around forever. They got to be great bikes, and they're always pretty price point efficient for people that are
very much
breaking
so.
in.
Yeah.
So Trek becomes like the entry level of, but Specialized has that same entry level. You just don't know because your Trek has been. It's like Kleenex of, you know, like.
But the crazy part is there's bikes out there like an Ibis Ripmo AF. Mm-hmm. Is it Ripley or Ripmo? Whichever one. One of them's like $3,000.
Yeah.
So but it's one of the best bikes you'll ever ride. Like just based on the build of it for most people, it's a fantastic for an all mountain type bike. And if you're looking to spend $3,000, if you can find one,
That's
they're
the problem.
fantastic. Right.
A lot
that's
of those
what's
boutique bikes like that, not that Ibis is a boutique bike, but like the direct to consumer
still
bikes.
backed up.
Yeah, since COVID, like those bike companies, people are learning. Like I could go get a Specialized for $7,000, or I could get a bike that is comparable to a Specialized for $4,000 that has better components.
Yep.
And like, I mean, it's still $4,000 and $7,000. So
No, totally.
but
fair.
it's still true. I mean, but my wife has a Specialized hardtail. The entry, if you're looking for a bike under $1,000, like I promise you're not going to get much better than a Specialized, a Trek, or a Giant. Like
I agree.
there's
I
no
totally
way
agree.
you're going to do it.
Because they're if nothing else, it's just the simple fact that they're such a conglomerate, like
Yes.
so big, and they're owned by conglomerates. Let's be honest, they can afford to get you in
Right.
the door because they're knowing that down the road they're banking on you being brand loyal, but we're telling you not to.
Right.
Just get in the door. But where you can really win is that what they're banking on rather is that not only will you be brand loyal, but the next big bike you're going to buy from them because
Right.
that's what I first rode. But I'm saying get out there and ride and feel as much shit as possible. Like experience stuff, because that's the joy of it, in the sense of you'll find something else that maybe fits you better or rides better or makes it more fun or whatever it might be.
And if you want to do that on the real cheap, come hang out with us.
Yeah.
And we'll let you ride our bikes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a little.
That's another. Yeah.
At some point, they're going to be like, oh, it's going to be one of those.
It's going to be a huge callback.
Yeah,
like a giant callback.
All right. So it is on to you, sir. You're number 3.
Man, I think most of them have been talked about. But my third one, I think, is this is another personal thing, like a people thing.
What we're saying is we hate people. Love bikes, hate people.
Don't complain about things you're not willing to do.
Shit, yes.
And don't, it's super easy to get on Facebook and just say, hey, this isn't done. What can we do? But you don't mean we.
Right.
Like somebody else can do it. Like
right.
There's always a way to, and I think we've talked about this, and maybe I probably bitch about it more than anybody, but I think that it's super easy to like armchair quarterback and be like, well, I would have done this. Well, but guess what? We are in a voluntary nonprofit organization.
Right.
You're welcome to come.
Right.
Just don't do it on your own free will, but join us and help us. Like,
so here's something I like. So, not getting political, but I'm using a political point. I don't vote for the president in the state of Alabama. It's a waste of my time. Mathematically.
Yeah.
Civic elections, 100%, because I have a chance to change the civic outcome. And then statewide elections, of course, I vote for them. But presidential, we live in a place where there is the margin is so slim that there's not going to be a blue candidate that makes it through, right? It's going to be, that's just what it's going to happen.
Not that we want.
So I don't waste my time. However, because I'm voting for those ones that are on the civic level, that means I am interested in seeing change happen, because I can actually impact the change. The difference with that and a bike organization, the bike organization's local, your local one,
yes,
you're not going to change the parent organization.
No.
It's going to stay what it is. But your local one is where you can start making changes, and physically showing up to do that. That is the equivalent of passing that vote. It's putting that vote through and making it happen.
Yeah.
Then you can actually see change. It's not going to change unless you show up. That is absolute fact.
Right. And the other thing is, it's like everybody that's riding the trails, or everybody that they don't always know. So you can't always jump on them and be like, dude,
that's the other. That sucks. That really sucks.
That sucks, because
that's back to the virtue signaling too.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand. They don't know that the process is like, hey, we don't own this property. It's not a public park. I mean, maybe it is, but it's not your God-given taxpayer right to use it.
That's correct.
There's an MOU involved. There's a lot of politics involved. Mountain biking is a dangerous sport. So for us to go on other people's property and ride our bikes dangerously, there's been some groundwork laid for you to be able to do that. So like, understand that things are happening, even if you may not directly see them always.
Yeah.
So like, don't just assume like, hey, I just watched a video on some sweet bike park going up in North Carolina. Like, why we don't have this here? Because nobody's doing it. Okay, I'm just going to complain about it. Well, no, let's find the people that are doing it, and let's see how we can help get it done.
Or call something the Reb and do it.
Yeah, or just
literally
do it.
Build a bike park in the middle of southern Alabama where no one said you could do it.
Right.
And within 4 months of it being open, well, I guess it was more than that, 5 months of it being open, national people start taking notice.
Right.
That's what I'm saying is if you put change locally, you'll get the attention of others. You just got to start the change locally. You got to put in the work, and it's a lot of work. That's the thing that's never.
And I might have done this when I first got involved heavily, and I'm sure I get criticized. That's fine. I'll take it. But I thought, no one's doing this shit. I'm going to do it. And so we started doing it, and maybe other people had tried things that we thought were cool and we thought we were groundbreaking. We probably weren't, but hey, no one was doing it at the time, so I'm going to do it. So like now we have an organization doing it, right? We have a bunch of people on a bus going down a road, right? So like if you have ideas and you want to get involved, and the platform is there for you to do it. It doesn't have to be reinvented. It doesn't have to be redone. You just
got to get to a bus stop. So
we'll pick you up. Just wave your hands. And then when you get on the bus, like, you're welcome to give ideas, but there's a driver of this bus. Just know that.
Yep.
And know that the driver's going where it's going to go. So, I mean, the direction is where you want it to go. It might not always be your stop time, right? Like,
yeah, I'm with you because you're spot on. There's just a chance for people to put in a little bit of energy.
A little bit of energy.
If they put in a little bit of energy, they'll see a bigger outcome. It's really kind of crazy. Now, there are idiots like the two of us that put in a lot of energy. You put in the most energy, and you see a smaller outcome just because how much you have to put in. That's a burden you carry.
Right.
Let's
No, and
be
I've done it
honest.
myself,
Right.
to myself.
You did it to yourself. But that's a reality of the situation and what it is. It is annoying as shit, though, that somebody gets on and just complains about it and never offers. And instead of saying we, just a free solution here, just say I. How can I go take care of
Exactly.
this? If you say that, someone might flame you, but you know what? Fire back because you at least put your neck on the line to go do it. Like,
Right.
how do I go get rid of this tree? What do I need to do to get rid of this tree?
And this isn't calling any person out.
No,
like,
shit, no.
No,
No,
it's
just
not.
using that as
It's
an
not
example.
directly, and this is not on our local Facebook. This is every Facebook group, every mountain bike group,
Yep.
and it's always like that in any hobby, I guess. It's super easy to like criticize what's being done rather than be involved, and it's like, oh, you don't like what's being done, but it's easy to bitch about it rather than to make it yours or do something better. And so it's like, let's just be involved, like help each other. We all want the same freaking thing.
Right.
Like we're not over here. The soft member's not trying to do shit just for his own benefit.
Right.
Like I think he's probably done the most for a lot of us that we wouldn't have been able to do.
Correct.
Or he's gone on a limb for a lot of people that, and I don't know that, I mean, he does a lot to himself just like I do, but I'm saying like there's things that are being done always. In the summertime, it looks like it's not.
Yeah.
And because it's not, because it's hot and no one wants to go outside. But there's always ways, like just find a way to be involved in whatever organization you're in. Like, there's tons of different, mountain biking or not. There's ways to get things done. And then sometimes you just have to trial and error like we did with the Reb. Like, let's see what happens. If it sucks, it sucks. It's ours.
Yeah.
It'll be our egg to suck. But like, if it's cool, it's still ours. Right. So, but then I think what's cool about it is like the energy that the Reb gave us. And I told the soft member this the other day, has made the energy at South better.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Or like other local trails is like everybody's excited about things. Like there's a buzz now. It's like, because think about if we only had South to ride this year because Chicxulub's closed. Like I would have been murdering myself.
No, it would have been bad.
Right.
But then we inject that back in, and frankly,
and even if it's not everybody gets to come ride there. Like those dudes are feeling the excitement, that the buzz of like us being there. Like not that we're local celebrities, but like the buzz that we have about mountain biking is contagious, right? And so, and at this point, we've pretty much invited a lot of people. But I mean, when they get to see it, it's like, wow, this is exactly what I expected. But we still can't do what you want, what everybody wants. Local public trails, you can't do,
right?
Because everybody wants something different,
right?
Think about if we have 200 plus members of our organization here. Think if all 200 people wanted something different, we have 8 miles of trails to put 200 people's influences on. Like, oh my gosh, like it would be
done.
We would have it'd never get, and it would never get done, and it would be just like a one bump after one other flattened bump, and then people, everybody, no one's going to be happy. So it's like, just live your life, help out where you can, get in where you fit in.
Yeah, that's right. It's spot on.
I don't know what I just went on. That was a Red Bull infused.
That was you are definitely the jacked up caffeine one now.
But was that my third? What's your third?
I got my third. My third was brand loyalty.
Oh, okay. Wow, we did it.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any idea? What annoys you about mountain biking?
Yeah. I wish they would send stuff in. Someone should say it. Put it in the comments.
Yeah. Tell us what annoys you. And don't be a dick about it.
Oh, you can be.
Well, yeah, we're being dicks.
You'll call you out.
What annoys me is Ride Rebellion's elitist bullshit attitude. Like they got microphones, they can do what they want.
Make your own podcast.
I dare you.
Yeah, go for it. And see how hard it is to be regular. It's like...
It's not as easy as pooping.
No, it is definitely not as easy as pooping.
Also, I just got a phone call and a post after that text message of Aaron Friesmeyer called me. I blocked him.
Oh,
No, I didn't block him, but I put in the voicemail and he said, please tell the pod I called. So there you go. Run and try.
Calling in. We could have brought him in.
I should have
send
speakerphoned
a
him.
link to him, and we could have brought him in. But I don't know how to link him back into the...
One day we're going to have him on he doesn't even say what he's here for. Like he wants to do a pod that's not business related.
I'll get it.
Because he had an image to uphold in the last one, I think.
Well, yeah, too. But
yeah.
it would be more fun to send him down the old...
Yeah. We need to do the porch sitting pod.
The very offensive Porch Sitting Pod.
It's not that offensive.
It's called Let's Get Canceled. It's got a little jingle at the beginning.
And every week it could be let's get canceled again.
Yeah, exactly.
And again.
Right.
And let's session canceling.
Oh. The other thing I was going to say is if you've noticed, we've done some rebranding. The new Reb logo is coming out. It is wicked good.
Mm-hmm.
So that logo represents a lot of stuff. So it represents the Rebellion, Ride the Rebellion bike park that one day will be open. Just wait for it. It also represents the podcast. It represents sort of the idea, and it's like a mantra. And so we're very happy with that logo and the way it turned out. So those stickers, at some point, if you find us, we'll get you one. If you want one, then throw some stuff in the comments and send a self-addressed stamped envelope to our headquarters. But no, if you guys want one, we'll be around passing them out. The other thing we have is we have the cool podcast stickers again. So the Reb sticker is kind of like an inside thing. If you have that, people kind of know you're part of the group. The podcast is just shameless advertising for us, and we'd be grateful forever. But the new ones you got, the glossy ones, are the shiz.
They are awesome.
They're good looking.
Very cool.
So we're going to get those. We'll try and make them available. They'll definitely be in some of our gift sticker pack type things. Hell, I mean, if somebody goes to Aaron's and does the shoes thing, we'll throw them in there too, just so they have them.
Hell yeah.
Those are super rare. They're like NFTs, but real.
Super NFT.
Super duper NFTs.
No fucking clue what that means.
It's okay. Non-fungible token.
Okay.
You just go with that.
I cussed a lot today.
Yeah, we dropped a few.
It's okay.
You opened with the B word, which is not bitch.
Yeah, no. Wow, we should just B-word it.
Yeah, we're almost done. I think that's it. I think that's all we got for the show.
You know what I always hear, though, is really funny, and no shade to our guests that we've had, but everybody always tells us, like, that was a really good podcast you guys had, but I kind of like when you guys just spitball. Like, I get that a lot, and I'm like, but why? You guys hear us all the time. It's from people that we hang out with. I'm like, you haven't heard that podcast?
Maybe it's familiar. Maybe we're like mashed potatoes to them.
But wait, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. It's like,
you know what I'm saying?
And then when we get on here, it's a little gravy. Jeez.
One more time for the record. Dale Boyd, Sports
But wait,
Management.
we didn't tell them how I lost my belt.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, Bug would be disappointed.
Oh, let's go ahead. So go for it.
No, I mean, you put it together.
Oh, well, we did a last minute. We did a
what I call it on
impromptu.
there? Impromptu Duro.
Impromptu Duro. We did a single stage using our rule set, which is not available publicly yet, but it's a great rule set. I think we've said it on here before, but
pretty
whatever.
much.
Anyway, we used our rule set, and we had it was a good turnout. It was 10 riders, very close the entire time. Dale had the fastest down at 109.51 or something, and I was at 110.26 or something. Like, we were hauling ass. It was a good ride. But the way our rule set works, Bug ended up winning the belt fair and square with the strongest ride of the day from anybody.
Yeah.
He was the fastest in terms of our rule set. He was the fastest in that, and he had the closest time disparity-wise. So Bug crushed it and takes away the belt, and so now we have a new reigning defending champion of the Rebellion, and his name is...
I'm still going to say he's not my weight class. He's not. He's like my left leg weight.
Yeah, he's very light. He did the whole thing shirtless.
Yeah, he did.
He did the entire race shirtless.
He shamed us fat men and why he was doing
He sure did, because he's like so lean.
But I like the new. I mean, I wasn't disappointed to lose the belt. I tried to.
It's more fun.
I ran out of places to store it anyway.
But it's more fun. It's
no,
fun
it really is.
To change on a moment's notice. I think is great.
And I think like we made that rule of 5 or more people racing, the belt's on the line. That's the way it always should be.
Yep. Your camera died. Battery.
It's fine.
Their audio's still there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people put me in the spank bank anyway already. So hopefully you got that in.
Lumix on the screen.
Hopefully you got it in the spank bank before the camera died.
Boy. All right. Well, with that said, I can't even pop up Dale Boyd Sports Management on that terrible. I can go to a black screen.
There we
Dale
go.
Boyd Sports Management. There it is. With that said, thank you for listening. We appreciate you hanging out. Sorry to all those who have sensitive ears after the fact. We've said a lot of delightful stuff. We've given you solutions to problems. We threw the problems at you. But mountain biking's 99% great.
Yeah, we may be the problem.
That's a fair statement.
If you think you have a solution, I'll give you my address.
Right.
Oh, we'll have a dinner and a couple beers.
Yeah,
I'm not
we'll
a fighter. Just talk about it.
There's a movie with Sylvester Stallone. He's like, "You're the virus." No. Yeah, you're the virus. I'm the cure. And then shoots a guy in the head or something.
Why was there no memes about that during coronavirus?
I don't know. It was from the movie Cobra, I believe.
Because some of the people try to forget some of those movies.
Man, it was fantastic. All right, with that said, thank you for listening. This is officially the closeout. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
On the way.